I am Samantha B. You know, over the past few months, we've all discovered who's behind workplace harassment, and it's literally thousands of men. Jinkies! And they would have gotten away with it, too. Oh, most of them did. So now that we're finally listening to women, some people are asking an important question. Should we stop listening to women?
Has Me Too become a war on people who don't deserve to be hurt by it?
Legendary actress Catherine Deneuve is denouncing the Me Too campaign.
Let's not turn women into snowflakes. Let's not infantilize women.
There is a bit of a witch hunt happening.
You really want to go there, Liam Neeson? Your most successful movies are literally all about women calling you to say they have a problem and you believing them. When your daughter called to tell you she was taken, you weren't like, whoa, 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 are you sure you weren't asking to be taken? Let's not ruin an innocent taker's life. Yes, the inevitable backlash to the Me Too movement has arrived, or as I like to call it, the You Too Loud movement. So I'd like to take a look at one focus of the backlash, the so-called shitty media men list. In case you don't know, the shitty media men list was just that, an anonymously crowdsourced list of men in media who women said did shitty things, ranging from sending unsolicited dick pics to claiming credit for women's work to rape. It was never intended for public consumption. If it had been, it would have had a punchier name, like this sassy koala video is amazeballs. And in fact, its creator took it down after just 12 hours because so many people were sharing it. It was the Scaramucci of lists. The list was essentially like a green book for women, only instead of telling black travelers which establishments were friendly, the list told women which men might be hostile, gropey, grabby, pinchy, pervy, plagiarizing, and rapey, aka the Weinstein Company version of the Seven Dwarfs. The list also let women know that they weren't alone. You know, the whole Me Too component. People were so obsessed with this list that existed for 12 hours that Harper's Magazine planned an expose about it 3 months later. Women tried to protect the creator of the list from being doxxed by Spartacusing all over Twitter. Would you look at that? A good example of people taking credit for a woman's work. You know, all women have done throughout the 4 months of the Me Too movement is try to protect other women, but you know what? Who is gonna protect the men?
When we are conflating and putting these things all in one bucket, we're gonna start hurting your fathers, your brothers, your sons, your grandfathers. Young people will not take the risk of actually talking to another person, asking them out for a date.
So it'll just be robots.
It'll be, well, I hope it'll be robots, because robots are more attractive.
Upon hearing that, robots everywhere downloaded a "Not tonight, I have a headache" feature. By the way, here's the number of people who were putting rape and harassment and bad dates in one bucket.
Nobody.
Literally nobody is saying they're the same. The list wasn't called rapists and other people whose 100% verified crimes I consider to be equal to rape. What many fail to understand is that it doesn't have to be rape to ruin your life, and it doesn't have to ruin your life to be worth speaking out about. Any kind of sexual harassment or coercion is unacceptable. So what the fuck are women supposed to do to protect ourselves? If we go public with a story, we're petty crybabies hell-bent on destroying men's careers. If we write a secret list to protect each other, we're gossipy shrews telling lies in the shadows. What men literally cannot understand is this isn't about them. Whoa! This isn't about men. That is unbelievable. The shitty media men list wasn't Arya Stark's fucking hit list. No one is getting their face worn by a teenager, although I'm sure that is some sick fuck's fantasy. Unfortunately, though, not all the backlash is from willfully blind men. Some of it is from women who have seen way too much, especially in the wake of an article about Aziz Ansari and the horrible night an anonymous woman said she had with him. The conversation about this article has been tentative and difficult, largely because a lot of women disagree about it. And women actually like to be careful with each other's feelings, except perhaps Ashley Banfield.
Let's take a moment to reflect on what you claim was the worst night of your life, end quote. You had a bad date. Is that what victimized you to the point of seeking a public conviction and a career-ending sentence against him? You had an unpleasant date and you did not leave. That is on you.
It's harder than you think to leave when you're uncomfortable or scared. For example, you're scaring the shit out of me right now, Ashley Banfield, and I can't leave. And it's not just Ashley. A lot of people are worried about Aziz's career, which no one is trying to end because, again, we know the difference between a rapist, a workplace harasser, and an Aziz Ansari. That doesn't mean we have to be happy about any of them. People like me had to wade through a sea of prehensile dicks to build the world we now enjoy. Of enjoying that world is setting a higher standard for sex than just not rape. And women get to talk about it if men don't live up to those standards, especially if that man wrote a book about how to sex good. And if that seems harsh, I'm sorry. In fact, you know what? I'm sorry for a lot of things. I'm sorry that anyone ever thought the contents of that list or any of the other ways we protect ourselves from men were your goddamn business. I'm sorry you thought you got to choose what experiences we can share or how we react to the shitty ways we've been treated. And to men specifically, I'm sorry our request to be respected makes office culture a little less fun and flirty. And I'm sorry we tattled about that stuff you did on us, even when it was totally not rape. But listen, if you don't want to tune into your partner's feelings throughout sex, maybe you shouldn't be fucking a person at all. May I suggest a coin purse or a Ziploc bag full of grape jelly? Men, if you say you're a feminist, then fuck like a feminist. And if you don't want to do that, take off your fucking pin because we are not your accessories. We'll be right back.